So I figured today I'm just going to do a Fallout DLC tier list. Figure something quick, something easy. Something I wanted to do for a little while anyway. Maybe work on a couple of these tier lists that I can sprinkle in to Mondays over the course of the next month or two. I'd like to do that. Batch record some stuff, get it out there, get it done. That way I can fall back on it if I need to. But it also gives me more breathing room to work on different runs and runs that could be a little longer in the tooth. Always try to have 2 weeks worth of stuff done. That way I can, if anything comes up, I can deal with it. So, without yammering on too much longer, I figure I should just get into this here. It's a short, sweet, and to the point one. Fallout DLC tier list. Which ones do I like the most? Which ones do I not like the most? Mind you, there's not really a truly bad DLC. No. Expansion. They're terrible, terrible DLCs. But we're only going to go S through D here. So, start Broken Steel. Quite frankly, Broken Steel is something that should have been in Fallout 3 from the beginning. And it's also an idea that Bethesda doesn't like you continuing a game after you finish it, even though it's supposed to be an open world game. So, Broken Steel was its remedy to that situation. Continue playing Fallout 3 after the end. It also adds more story and whatnot in with the Enclave and the platform and Liberty Prime and all that. It's a good story, kind of forgettable. It's not too bad though. It was mostly just an excuse to give us the ability to play after the end, and also make it so that you can have, a companion that's immune to radiation go in and flip the switch. So you don't have to die. Sarah Lyons doesn't have to die. So I'm going to say for what it is, story-wise and whatnot, I'm going to put that, say a high B on that one. Not the best story at the end of it, mostly there to remedy some problems that, quite frankly, it should have just been in there from the fucking beginning. Be able to play after the end. Simple as that. Point Lookout is another strange one. It doesn't add to the overall story of Fallout in any significant way. It's not like world-changing, world-ending, or anything like that. It's you literally go to find somebody's kid that ran off. Because why not? You get lobotomized to a point. Seeing recurring themes here for DLCs. And, uncover some mysteries along the way. Find a feud that's been going back for 200-300 years. Between the same people at that. The story's good. Mystery surrounding it's pretty neat. The build up to it's okay. I'll put that in an A. Because the aesthetic's pretty good. It's an area I haven't really seen much. It's not bad. It's not bad. Mothership Zeta. Pretty much the exact opposite of Point Lookout. And in that it's a world-ending, world-changing clash of events that forever changes the Fallout timeline in a bunch of different ways. So, I'm gonna have to say maybe high A. High A for that one. You do see a bunch more of the aliens that were introduced in the first Fallout game. So, it's cool to see where they come from, where they went, their tech and whatnot. It also explains why you're going to see them in other Fallout games and why they're there kicking around. I'm just going to go with high A for that one. Can't go tossing everything in S tier. Although, with the way it seems to be going, almost everything's going to end up in A. So maybe we toss Mothership Zeta at S for now. Maybe we change it later on, once we got everything sussed out. For right now, we're just going to toss that in S, actually. Operation Anchorage. A video game inside of a video game to train you to be a better soldier because apparently the pre-war had that type of tech. I like its on-rails shooter style and aesthetic for it. You do have some open-world elements to it to run around. It does teach you how to use power armor too, so it has a fairly large impact on the game. You can skip meeting the Brotherhood of Steel if you really wanted to. Run straight there, get the power armor training, some really good power armor, really good rifle, stealth suit. I'm gonna say high A for right now. Just to go with it there. Could very well go through, change it later. We'll see. For right now, right there though. Fallout 3, the pit. Where you meet Asher, the pit raiders, troglodytes, the weird post-apocalyptic Pittsburgh, which really isn't too far off of normal Pittsburgh. Get Asher's power armor. One of my favorite aesthetics for power armor in the entirety of the Fallout series. Although if it was black and red, it'd be a little bit nicer than black and yellow, but it can't be perfect. I also like how it ties into the history of Fallout 3 and the Brotherhood of Steel there. After all, Elder Lyons and his group traveled through the pit to collect a significant piece of technology on their way to DC. They laid waste to the pit. That's how Asher ended up there. Building collapsed on him. They said he was MIA. Well, KIA, actually. The reality is his power armor protected him from the building falling on him. He just decided to stay there and pick up the pieces. So, I like the feel of it. Feels post-apocalyptic. I'm gonna toss that an S for right now. I'm gonna come back to it there. And that's pretty much the Fallout 3 DLCs. So, say we're doing pretty good there. Mind you, it could just be nostalgia, because Fallout 3 was the first Fallout game I played when it first came out. After that, I went through, played Fallout 1 and 2, and Tactics, and even that weird isometric top-down action one. Can't fucking remember the name of that one. Now we'll move on to Fallout 4 DLC here. Automation. This is with the antagonist? Nope. The mechanist. That's what it is. I was thinking Fallout 3 there for a second. Robots go haywire, robo-brains fuck up and start killing people because that's not a tired cliche of, oh, I gave you the order to save people. Well, people are dangerous to themselves and each other, so the only way we can actually save people is to kill them. It's tired, wore-out trope from a character from another Fallout game, and it was pretty much a glorified excuse to toss the robot workbench into the game. I'm gonna toss that in C, simply because it's not a great storyline. Contraptions. Garbage. It's more of a gimmicky fucking... I wouldn't even consider it an actual DLC. Well, my definition of DLC is different than your definition of DLC, because I grew up when DLC was expansions. You know, Blood Moon, Tribunal, that sort of shit. You know, it's something that only adds some cosmetic things that you can use in the workshop. Not really high up on my list, so it's going to be the lowest on the list for each one of them, really, and I'll just toss those there now. Get those out of the way. Far Harbor. Stop me if you've heard this one before. You go to a far-off land plagued by strange mutants where it's usually always rainy, kind of swamp-like. Weird shit happens, and you have to settle pretty much a feud between a few things. Mind you, it's not an exact carbon copy of Point Lookout in any way, shape, or form. The aesthetic is similar, the story is similar, but, you know, like they said in ancient Rome, there's nothing new under the sun. For what it is and how it can play out with Nick Valentine, it's not a terrible DLC. So I'm gonna put it on par with Broken Steel, really, because it feels like it's a continuation of a story that should have been finished in the main game. Also, I just don't like any of the fucking characters in this. Like, fucking Sparkplug there. I want to say Desdemona, but that's not right. Whatever. The synth dude with the spark plug things in his fucking head. Yeah. The memory sequences for him, terrible. Should have been memory sequences closer to Kellogg's, right? Where you get to walk through the memories. You actually see the stuff happening with him and the people. And then you've got to do like a little mini tower defense thing to keep the things from destroying the memories before you can see all of it. That would have made more sense than whatever the fuck the actual thing. It's terrible. I'm only putting it in B because I like some of the story beats of it, and that's it. Nuka World, a fairly innovative concept, right? You're going to an old amusement park that has the descendants of the people that were stuck in the amusement park there when the bombs fell. Neat idea. Taking it over to either be the leader of the gangs or wipe out the gangs. You know, that black and white moral choice that Bethesda loves. So it's not a bad DLC. I like it. You can impact the main game with it, along with the region you're in. So I'm gonna toss that an A for now. I might move it down later on. But right now we're going to move into Fallout New Vegas DLC. Now this is the game I'm most familiar with because I've beat it the most amount of times out of all of the Fallout games. So we're going to start with Dead Money. Now I rag on Dead Money because I don't like one of them. I don't like the collar. I don't like the collar mechanic in that game. The collar mechanic in Dead Money gets on my fucking nerves. Then again, it was meant to get on your fucking nerves. So I understand why they did it. I understand why it's there. I understand stripping the character of everything they have, you know, desert island scenario, start from nothing, work your way back up again. It can be gratifying in games. It's a good premise. I like the story. I like the setting. I like the environment. I don't like the bomb collar. It's annoying. I mean, they could keep the bomb collar and just make it so it's like a narrative point instead of you actually have to fuck around with the environment to stop your head from exploding. That shit gets on my nerves. But I like the characters. I like the overarching story of it. The moral you're supposed to learn. To let go and begin again. So for as much as I rag on it, it's either going to be high A or maybe even S tier. Put it in high A for now. Which one is this? The Courier's whatever the fuck. Cache. These are DLC weapons, if memory serves me correctly. So I'm just going to toss them down here with the rest of that shit. Same with Gunrunner's Arsenal. Sure, they add more weapons and stuff into the game, but it should have been shit that was in the game to begin with instead of pre-order DLC bullshit. Right? I don't like that. Right? If it's going to be a couple of cosmetics that you can change out, like maybe a skin for your Pip-Boy or something, whatever, you know. But when it's an entire set of weapons that they give to you at the beginning of the game that drastically changes how the game plays, like a fucking grenade rifle, kind of fucking stupid. Don't get me wrong, it comes with pretty much every version of New Vegas at this point, but it doesn't change the fact of what it was when it came out. Yeah. So now we're going to move on to Honest Hearts. Two of my favorite characters in the entirety of Fallout lore are in Honest Hearts. One of them we meet, one of them we learn about. The one we meet is Joshua Graham. I love Joshua Graham. I like how he's actually a complex character. A very complex character. Actually made people religious, and I can see why. His voice actor did an amazing job with him. Just an amazing job. So I'm going to say S tier for that. And the second character is Randall Dean Clark, Father in the Cave. Great character, great story. Quite frankly, if they made like a Fallout anthology series, I'd like to see like an entire season focused on the survivalist. That would make for good. That'd make fucking great television, man. As long as they don't fuck it up with bullshit. You know what I mean by that. Lonesome Road. Ulysses, The Divide. Some people don't like Lonesome Road because it tries to define what the Courier is before the beginning of the game. And I get it, you're supposed to be like a blank character at the beginning of it to be molded by your choices. The thing is, you're still a courier. You're playing as a courier for the Mojave Express, right? You delivered things in the past to places in the past, right? Ulysses can think whatever he wants that, oh, you kept delivering stuff to the Divide because you lived there. No, you could have just kept delivering stuff to the Divide because you got paid to, right? Ulysses also hints at maybe every courier is actually a Fumentare, or whatever the fuck he is. Since Caesar always had one rule, which was never to kill a courier. Maybe the Mojave Express is just a courier program that's run by the Legion and they're all Legionnaires. Or maybe it's not, right? A lot of ways you could try to interpret it. At the end of the day, you're a courier and you delivered something to the Divide because someone paid you to deliver something to the Divide. And that thing you delivered blew up the Divide. It's not your fault, right? So, the characters, there's one, really. Oh, I guess Eddie, Edie, Floating Trash Can is also one. But, Ulysses, some of the Scorched and Marked Men, actually. Which I guess type of ghoul that skin is flayed off of by the pretty much sandstorms of the Divide. I like the environment, how it was pretty much an untouched pre-war city that people set up shop in and used, and it had, the reality of it is it was a facade really to hide a bunker complex with missiles and shit under it. You may think that's kind of unheard of, but in World War II, there were entire factories that were hidden underneath of fake neighborhoods. Look into it. It's fucking wild, man. Just fake houses, fake everything, just built over top of an actual factory. It's fucking crazy. The blow up tanks and whatnot. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, wouldn't be unheard of for that to actually happen. It is a pretty good continuation of the story. It adds more on to what you learn in the other DLCs. You know, Ulysses is the courier that Joshua Graham talks about thinking was going to actually show up for him. So it's a good DLC. I'll probably put that ahead of Dead Money, but below Honest Hearts. And Old World Blues. Old World Blues is a fairly unique one. You get lobotomized, you gotta do a bunch of fetch quests for a bunch of dumbasses and floating robots. So, fairly simple premise. Has an impact on pretty much every one of the other DLCs you come across, except for Honest Hearts. It's not bad. It's not bad. I feel like it would be above Nuka World, maybe above Point Lookout. You do get the stealth armor, so maybe you get the stealth armor, and you could also get the ghost armor, ghost person armor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So maybe above Operation Anchorage, a little below Dead Money, because one's about letting go of old ideals. Goddamn, words are hard sometimes. And one's just, you need to let go of some shit. Lonesome Road is more beginning again, if you play that one right. So, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's about good for the overall tier list for all the Fallout DLC. In my opinion there. I think that turned out pretty good. I think it turned out pretty good indeed right there. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Anyway, I'm pretty much going to call this video here. I've rambled for close to 10, 15 minutes. I have no idea at this point. So, if this is your first or second time here, hope you enjoyed the video. If this is your third time here, go ahead and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on when I post. I'd also like to thank my member, Eric Hewitt. Thanks for being a member and supporting me. Means a lot. I'm probably going to start another one of these next, so I can knock out a couple of them, get them done, get them in the backlog, just to make sure they can come out, just in case I need them to. And with that, I'm going to start the next one.